Call this meeting of the Area Planning Commission to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take this opportunity to welcome everybody tonight and thank you for coming. We'll have roll call.
Darren Price.
Here.
Bill Freed.
Here.
Dale Munson. Gary Naylor.
Here.
Robert Stewart. Brian Robb.
Here.
Bill Mackey. Darrell Drew.
Here.
Bill McDaniel.
Present.
Jeff Wessling.
Present.
And Beverly Rude.
Okay, we do have a quorum, so we'll move on to approval of minutes. I think you have in front of you
There are two sets.
two sets of
August 24th and September 28th. And I didn't see any indication that we had done either of those previously, so those are what we have.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Been a motion made and seconded that we approve the 2 minutes that have been presented as presented. Any questions or
Go ahead and just pull those out for Bev for you guys to sign.
any questions or comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carries. I only have one, Bill.
Okay, which one?
Let me see.
I have the 24th, but I only have the signature page of 28.
Well, that's what y'all
That's the one I
need.
got.
Oh, yeah, because the
Cancel.
28th, that was the one when I had COVID.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. So we figured it's probably good when we don't have meetings to go into the official record in this manner.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. We'll move on to, well, we don't have any new members yet, so,
Yep. Well, we have a gentleman here. What's your name again, sir?
Tim Sparks.
Tim Sparks. Mr. Sparks has responded to the article that was in the News Examiner.
okay.
So what we had is, I think that is beneficial for getting interest and letting people know what's going on. So I've had, I think there's 7 people, 4 people lived in the city, then 3 in the county, and then, of course, you also mentioned someone else is interested that lives in the county when that comes up. So I'm thinking that it might be a good thing for us to go ahead and do, perhaps is, do this on a regular basis as it gets toward the end of the year.
The end of the year instead of the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
As good a response as we got.
exactly. So, I mean, I'm happy with the response.
Okay. So we'll move on down on the agenda. The solar, more discussion was held on the setbacks. Didn't really come up with any recommendations yet.
No.
Membership was a little low
Yeah.
on attendance. Several of them were on vacations.
Yeah, but I would call it productive conversation.
Yeah, I would too. There was a lot of discussion, concerns of, for instance, why so much setback in certain areas, such as road frontage, but why such little setbacks around residential
Yeah.
was probably the main conversation. And the reasoning behind the fence thing was, or the road was, well, we don't ask corn farmers for a 50-foot setback or a 75-foot setback, why solar?
Sure. Yeah.
So, those were some of the
Yeah.
discussion points.
And the big thing that really drove a lot of what the setbacks is, of course, is it's primarily a visibility thing.
Yeah,
And
but there again, we got a lot of cornfields we can't see around,
yeah,
and we don't ask that, we don't
Yeah.
ask for setbacks there, so.
yeah.
That was one of the big topics, part of that setback thing. So we're gonna continue the setback discussion, next month. And, hopefully we'll get a little closer, cause I think we'll have a little better attendance
Yeah.
and be able to start putting some stuff
Yeah.
on paper.
Yeah, well, I think another way to look at it though is because, well, we have the setbacks, which is from the property lines, but if we're gonna be a certain distance from the, say, residential uses, well, that's where we get into what's called the separation distance versus setbacks. I know it's kind of
But
we
we encouraged, or Darren and I encouraged them, if you're looking at setbacks on residential and the claim is, well, property value deterioration, then let's try to get some proof with comps
Yeah.
in other counties that proves that our setbacks are not far enough
Yeah.
back.
Either values have gone down, gone up, stayed the same.
Yeah,
Which is gonna be difficult because it's fairly new,
Yeah.
but I think, I think this is a committee that's really interested in digging and trying to
We've got
find.
some folks that've done some good legwork.
And,
that's good.
and I think,
I'm glad to hear that,
I think if their comps are out there, they'll find them
yeah.
in other counties. So, it was an interesting meeting, but, we'll see how next month goes.
All right, no, that sounds good.
And then, on the accessory use, I think you've got some
Yeah, well, what I did with the.
materials here.
Yeah, I don't expect to really have a conversation this evening, but I just want to familiarize members with what I looked at. So as I started looking, it's just not the accessory use, but there's other things that are related to accessory uses, other sections. So, as usual is, my comments are italicized, but there's some things to look at with the art exceptions also. Then also along with the art exceptions is, for example, okay, alleys abutting rear side yard, okay, there's my comments right there. Okay, then some things with the fences, and one in particular with the fences is that, yeah, because one thing we've gotten into, it's been an issue for both the utility, well, Connersville Utilities and then the electric utilities, is that people putting fences, not just fences, things like fences and storage buildings into the plopping them down within the easement. Now, currently, right now, there's nothing with the zoning code says you have to be outside of the easement. So I spoke with my contact with the district engineer. I also spoke with emails with Brad Coulter. He said theirs is typically 10 feet each side of the property line. So what they would like would actually be a setback from with Connersville Utilities. The example he used is not all of the sewer lines are in the center of the easement. There's some that are close to the edge. So it's a safety concern on Brad's part, Mr. Coulter's part, about having a setback from the easement so that you don't have it right on the edge of the easement, because if it collapses, someone could die, severely hurt or die. So that's the rationale behind that. Okay. Then I just need to, then there's others like the intersection visibility. I just want to look more closely at the language. Those are in the yard exceptions. Okay. One will be it's really replaced this whole manufactured home and mobile home permitted section. Because if you look on there, it's like Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, Class E, Class F mobile homes. But those are based on how old the mobile homes actually are. That isn't done anymore. Because if you think about it as every so often, because if you're gonna have that class system based on the age of manufactured homes, what you will have to end up doing will be, on a regular basis, you're gonna have to go ahead and amend that on a regular basis, and places really don't do it, but it'll just be some research. And this is one I think we really do need to go ahead and take care of and get changed while we're at it. And there's the part with the accessory uses. Okay, up at the top I have some comments about new provisions. Then it might make sense to move, for example, the home occupation to accessory use rather than just have it standing out there on itself. With everything that we did with the, because really it is an accessory use. And, because there's a few things here and there. We got setbacks, okay, then there's some things about garages, carports, the sizes of structures, okay. Then one section that really needs to be rewritten, parts to be deleted, have to do with the satellite dishes. Because this is from the time when, well, you had a satellite dish as one of those big monsters. It was before you really had satellite service, the services that provide satellite dishes. And so you're pulling straight off the satellite instead of through another service. And then with the size of those, that just needs to really be amended to bring it into, have it reflect really as we've done with other things, technology, reflect the current technology. Then there's, I wonder, I can't see it. Distance glasses still. Okay. So then when it comes to temporary uses, there's some right there, which is, I think it's rewriting the temporary uses. I know some of us have been in conversations in the past with temporary uses. Because right now, the way it's written, any of these things that are temporary uses really should go in front of the BZA. Well, there's some things that might need to, and there's others which really probably makes more sense to go ahead and have as a staff authority to issue those temporary use permits, rather than if someone wants to do something, making them wait another month to do something. Okay. All right, and that's where we're really at with all of that. So I'm just asking is, before next month, just go ahead and read through this and get a good feel for it. If you have questions in the meantime, as you're going through it, feel free to call or email me just like always.
Bill, the only question I
sure.
might have right off the bat,
Yeah.
and it was because you included me on those emails
Yep.
with the utilities.
Yep.
My biggest concern about taking a setback beyond the easements, a property owner's already been asked to give up 15, 20 feet, 30 feet, whatever it is, the easement is. He can't build on that, and then you ask him that he has to be set back from that line. Now he's lost another 5 feet or 10 feet or whatever. Some properties may not have any building space left
Well,
inside the city.
Well, yeah, those are reasonable. That's why we always discuss these things.
Yeah, and so I got thinking about that because I thought, well, that makes a lot of sense, what Mr. Coulter said. And then I thought, wait a minute, it's not the property owner's fault that they buried the sewer line off center of the easement.
Okay.
I didn't know how anybody else would think about that, but that was one of my concerns.
Okay, but it still makes sense to you, though, at least specifically say, no, you're not gonna put any stuff in the easement.
Within the easement, yes. Yeah.
Because if I've had to explain to people.
At least
with
not permanent
Yeah,
structures.
with those storage buildings, storage sheds, or people want to build a, because, side property line for a lot of these districts is 5 feet. Well,
Put pools in or,
Yeah, well, yeah.
on.
Exactly. So at least keep, then that's, I don't know if people remember the problem with all that flooding in Tarketon Heights for a long time, the lack of drainage. Well, one of the problems they ended up with, they found, was that they had people putting privacy fences on that rear property line, and those were going in through the tile.
Yeah, they were.
And so then going through the tile, then that was part of the problems with the lack, poor drainage.
So that warrants some discussion. I think it
Okay.
warrants some study.
Yeah. Oh, no, well-
On that, on the part of, we might end up taking
Yeah.
3/4 of somebody's backyard out that they can't even build on.
Well, no, it's, like I said in the past is, I'm never wedded to anything that I'm putting in something. I'm just trying to think through
Yeah,
rationally, okay, what is the logical reason for doing it?
right.
Just like some of the things.
Well, I thought, well, that made a lot of sense.
You start
Reading
thinking
through-
more about it,
And then
yeah.
I got to thinking more about, from the property owner standpoint.
Yeah.
And that's what made me concerned about that. So.
Is 10 feet the state requirement?
No, 10 feet is pretty much the standard. For example, it's 20 foot wide and it's 10 feet on each side. Now, that's the standard for the regular, also for the electrical easement. So then when you get into other, when it's buried, it's 15 foot wide easement. When it's a buried, with Duke, buried easement. Then when it's I think 3 phase, but then there's a certain one situation where it's actually calling for, I think 30 foot wide easement. But,
3 or 30?
yeah, 30.
30, okay.
Yeah, it has to do with, I forget what, I think it might be for, say, something 4 phase power, something like that, 3 or 4 phase power. It's actually a wide, larger easement due to the
The
potential
voltage,
danger.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, and so these things are really about,
okay.
really safety, and as I've had to explain to people in the past, is that, well, I don't advise you putting that fence on there because there's an easement. If the utility has to come through, they gotta remove your fence. You've been forewarned.
Will it get back as good as it was? Those kind
Well,
of situations.
it's, the homeowner put it there, so the utility, they don't have to put it back.
Yeah,
Because you're using their easement. So I also want to do that, also protecting the investments of the property owner also.
and I know we have a lot of situations in subdivisions and whatnot that there was surface drainage easements built in there, and so many houses, they just went out there and built fences, and then they wonder why they can't get drainage, proper drainage.
Yeah.
So.
And then they want to bitch at Connersville Utilities.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sure. Anything else before we move on? Really don't have anything on the additional progress on the reformatting, do you?
No, I think it's because if we do this and then we make some of these changes, we fold more things into the accessory uses, we make some of these other changes, that'll work in with the formatting. I
Okay,
think
so,
one thing is, as we get some of the problems fixed, that'll also make it easier to take care of formatting.
yeah, the formatting.
Yeah.
So, you want to kind of discuss this in detail next month?
Absolutely, I'd
Would
love
like
to.
to
I'd
try
love to.
So
Yeah.
let's try to read through this and have some opinions for next month then.
Yeah, yes, have the opinions, if there's anything else you'd like me to check on, anything along those lines, any questions that you have. So,
Okay.
and
We'll move on to director's report. You have it there in front of you, in print. If there's any questions for Bill, feel free to shout them out.
I'll make a motion to approve.
There's a motion made and seconded to approve the director's report as given. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Okay, now one thing I did not do, because we're into the second full year of using the current format for the permits, is, in my mind, I didn't see it necessary to still keeping a running tab of the additional fees, since we're 2 years into
Yeah,
it.
no,
So,
no, you're right. One question, Bill.
Yeah.
It's not the report itself, but it seems like about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we addressed the permit fee ordinance.
Yep.
Does that need to be readdressed ever so often, so we don't have big hikes?
Yeah, well, that's the,
Rather than doing it every 20 years and
Yeah.
we
Well,
double it.
yeah, well, that would be something periodically, yeah. But right now, we're going through an amendment with the commissioners. And what this is to look at changing the, very few jurisdictions anymore do their fees based on, okay, project cost. Most actually do it on the square footage of the project, which is probably actually more accurate of your actual cost.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a discussion on that. I'm gonna provide something to the commissioners for their next meeting, based on the conversations we had.
So really, from here on out, the fee schedule, that's gonna be a commissioner's thing.
Yeah,
The APC won't look at.
yeah,
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember how that worked. I
Yeah.
knew they created a new ordinance.
yeah. So the ordinance was there, so we didn't have it in the zoning code and the subdivision regulations.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, all right.
And we're getting close to we had the hearings for the commissioners and the city council regarding the,
Construction standards?
yeah, the development
Construction.
standards. So once they have those, then that will push up onto the list of amendments, then is to then work on the amendments for the language, to integrate the references for the development standards, the zoning code, and the subdivision regulations. And, probably also where we're standing on the parking. Is that of course, there's a lot of stuff in that, even though it's a fair small number of pages, there's a lot of information. So these asked commissioners, because they hadn't completed their review of it, they have some questions. So if they have some questions or things we need to look at and change, what I'm going to propose to the commissioners is send it back to us, send it back to the plan commission, so I can also then get a copy of the comments to the city council, so that, because the odds are, the people on the city council will have some of the same questions and concerns.
Okay,
So, I mean, this isn't one of those ones where it's like, no, we don't like it, but it's this is one to, answer some of the questions better. And then, maybe some things we didn't give as much thought to that we should have, we can then give that a little bit more thought.
but there is a calendar to that, isn't there?
Yeah,
They only have so many days to get it back to us, don't they?
yeah, it's a 90 days,
Okay.
yeah, so we have time to do it.
All right,
Because otherwise, it's the opposite of a pocket veto.
yeah, okay, all right. All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded for adjournment. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.